All right, 7:00. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Darcy, whenever you're ready with the roll call.
Engelhardt.
Here.
Ingstrom.
Here.
Malcolm.
Here.
Mar.
Here.
Moore.
Here. Thank you. Item number 3 is the pledge. So everybody that's able, please, if you would stand and we'll do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we're going to do a little changing here. Item 17, the consent agenda will be after 6. Darwin wants to stick around for that, and he's got to head out for a real board, so we'll do it that way. So at this time, then, could we have an approval of and perfection of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say no. Carried. Okay, item 5 then is public comment time. Anybody out there? All right. Go ahead, Christie.
So I just wanted to update you guys. I just met with the school board and there was a proposal and they approved the proposal. And so it'll just be a little over $100,000 that they'll be able to help us with. Yeah,
Wonderful.
so what that's going to mean is,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's going to mean my role and then our 3-year-old preschool teacher, her role, the school is going to be able to pay for. Utilizing special education funds and at-risk funds because we have a high population of 3-year-olds that need IEPs. And then, of course, I am on the ground with identifying children who are at risk and identifying those developmental needs and identifying them and referring them. So that's how we're going to be able to do that. So that's exciting.
Good, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
I also wanted to thank you for helping me set up the meeting with AGRA. And that's going to be at 10:30. They're going to come to the center on Wednesday. I want to give them a tour and show them what our different classrooms are and tell them what our program's all about. And just was wondering if anyone from the council would be available to attend that
What's the date on that?
Wednesday,
What time?
10:30.
I could probably be there.
That would be wonderful, Becky. I think that a representative from the council would be very good on that, yes.
Anybody else want to join me?
I got something wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Just tell me, I'll talk to you later and get together with you on that, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think, we're well on our way to starting to support the childcare needs in Postville. I have another project that I'm working on. I want to do a summer camp my goal is to provide a summer camp 3 days out of the week for 30 6 to 10-year-olds. And I'll need 2 teachers to do that. And also provide that 3 days a week for 24 3 to 5-year-olds. So really as a way to help families find a spot for their kids when school's not in session. Also bridge the gap between when summer school isn't in session. Provide a very enriching program with lots of activities. And so I was just wondering if I could meet with you at some point and discuss perhaps what that might look like from the city's perspective. And then together we can talk about a proposal I can come and do at the city council meeting.
Sure, yeah.
Which
Well-
works for you. I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Yeah. We'll work something out. Sure,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So do you guys have any questions for me?
Good job. Is the presentation at the child care center? On
Wednesday,
Okay.
yes.
I'll be there.
I'll be excited. I know you've been in the center a time or two, not too long
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, we did
Yes.
things with the flamingos and,
Yep,
yeah, I've been there a few times, so.
but I'll be happy to show you and talk to you a little bit more about our program.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? All right. If not, then let's go on to item 6, and that would be Tara.
fun stuff. Insurance. Darcy wanted me to come and go through the renewal with you again this year. Unfortunately, again, prices have increased. They did on all properties for all members, they did a 10% inflation on building limits. So your coverages on your buildings have gone up by 10%, and that's due to increased costs with everything across the board. And unfortunately, liabilities premiums have gone up. There's been a lot of claims history. I have your loss history just from last year. Had kind of a rough year last year. So that that did play a part in the increase too. So, but Darcy did mention that we're removing the fire station and the fire trucks. So I have that off of the renewal proposal. Your policy or your property limit still did increase because of that 10%. So let's see. Oops. Okay. So we took off the fire station, and then there was several vehicles. 8 vehicles, it looks like, and then a few miscellaneous items like the JAWS thermal imaging device, an earphone, and then a gator that we took off. But just to give you an idea, last year your building limit was $27,962,812, and this year the building limit is $29,974,618. So the invoice packet, the total contribution for all lines of coverage is $86,881. Again, they do the whole property breakout. It shows what you're paying per building, per vehicle, your liability amounts per line. You've got a $2 million liability per occurrence limit, but then you've got excess liability of another $2 million, so you've got $4 million total for liability. Just to give you an idea of your claims for last year, so your auto liability, there's 6,800 paid out. Physical damage, 13,313. There is a police liability claim out there, 45,000 on the reserve, and then total property losses were just under 56,000. So last year alone, it was 121,000 losses. So just to give you an idea where you're sitting with that. I also did print out the loss history since inception, since you've been a backup from 2007. I can give this to Darcy, and if anybody would like a copy emailed to them.
What were our losses last year for claims?
Well, so I did do a specific per occurrence. Let me see, there's, I'll give you for instance here. Let's see. Okay, so there's lightning damage to some equipment, that's property loss, and 40,194 is paid out. Lightning to a controller, that was, let's see, in July, 32, almost 3,300. There was a welcome sign that was vandalized, that was 12,000 paid out. Let's see, there is, we don't have these in date order, but there is, I said auto physical damage claims, that'd be like, I think there's one where, is that the one where the tire blew?
Plow truck.
Yeah. And
Twice.
that paid out right now. There's, for that claim, it was 6,800. Auto physical damage was 13,000. Auto liability, one of them hit a parked car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was 6,800 that was paid out. The police liability, there's an open claim for that one. I'm trying to do
I mean, I guess
remember.
I just want the total, I think it's 350,000.
No, for last year was 121,000.
That's what I just need to know.
Yeah.
Got it.
What's the police liability on?
I don't know.
We're writing.
No, that one's just got a reserve set. That one wasn't paid out.
Oh, that's
That's,
before my time.
yeah,
It's pretty old.
I'm trying to find it here.
So that's pretty old
It's
and
an
not,
open claim, but it has, like I said, it's got a reserve set with, nothing paid out yet. Is it, sorry, I had it written down, but I can't find it.
What's it?
So we get dinged on it every year until it gets paid out, or?
Basically, it's just like a loss ratio until it gets paid out or settled, or
Yeah. Probably.
What's the
So that
point?
affects our rates
it does.
each year?
Not, so they had to kind of change the way their rating matrix went across the board.
Just still sitting out.
Because of losses and the number of losses for everybody,
Yeah.
not just the city of Postville, just everybody. Liability claims have gone up quite a bit. So now they do rate for loss ratio.
So are you, that one that's old, are there still an investigation or how? come
Yeah,
it's not
I'm
paid?
sorry, I'm trying to find it here. I didn't think of it. No, sorry. I apologize.
so how long
Was
do
it
those?
excessive force? Yeah, this one. Okay. May 21st of 21, the plaintiff complained of excessive force during an arrest.
I got feedback through ICAP. Was this through ICAP?
Yes. Mhm.
Which I got the email on it. Yeah, it's the one.
Yeah, it's open,
Oh,
reserved, but
okay.
nothing's been paid.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yep. And then they had, that he had inadequate medical care for the day or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's gone on for 2 years. I mean, that's-
A lot of times those liability claims take a little bit longer to settle just because they have to kind of wait to see if they hire attorneys and if they, what they're wanting, what they're asking for. It's a whole legal process and sometimes they just take long, unfortunately.
So the person that's suing us or whatever,
It's a notice right now,
okay, but they're the one that are putting the hold up on it, right?
basically.
Is there a statute of limitations or something?
When since there's a claim filed, then not really, they can just have to wait until this person decides what they want to do. How do we settle?
So
they can
doesn't,
just
every
leave it-
once in a while, doesn't like the insurance company get tired of that? And
They try to keep in touch with legal and, go back and forth with attorneys, but I mean, everybody knows that process can take a long time.
Well, the person dies.
Then you have to wait for the state to settle and, yeah,
I mean, but that person, you can't prove if they recovered or not.
right. So, I mean, in this, it's kind of funny because there was a situation that I kept had with another one of our members where they had an auto accident, that they were at fault and the person in the meantime died and they had to wait for the estate to settle. They had to wait for just all of that kind of stuff to settle before they could even get reimbursed for this.
That's
So,
that's-
yeah,
He's trying to push it.
Yeah.
It's like, that person is like keeping us from getting our claim settled.
basically.
They have all the rights.
Yeah. So, but I'll leave the loss history.
Yeah.
Like I said, if any of you guys want me to email the whole packet out, it's loss ratio from the inspection. So I can send that out,
So how much is the premium up?
about 10,000.
10,000?
About
Oh,
12%.
moly.
And most of the renewals are going to be anywhere from 14 to 20%. So,
So it was that much of an increase, even removing all that fire in the
yeah, because
building?
your property limit actually
Sure.
increased with 10% inflation.
What'd you say the
And
annual
I
premium
did-
went to?
Pardon?
Annual premium,
Mhm.
how much is that?
About 10,000. It went up. It's
Right.
88.
86,881.
Okay.
I did ask about quoting a higher deductible as well, to see if that made a difference, because right now you have $1,000 property deductible. They can go up, you can go up to 5,000 if you want. It saves 3,200 for the year. It's, I mean, it doesn't really pay for itself. It depends on where you want to sit with your property deductible, so. Right now you've got 350 comprehensive and 500 collision. And it doesn't really pay to increase those either. You've got a pretty decent rate as far as the auto physical damage goes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the premium that much, but yeah, raising the property deductible would save that $3,200 a year.
That might make sense. We wouldn't have a lot of claims on property, do we?
No, you had a couple lightning.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That was, yeah, well, 5, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, they paid out 55,000 in property last year.
Well, 5 going north of town.
mhm.
Is there anything, it seems like we get hit with lightning out there a lot, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
there's something with that well that seems to draw. Mhm,
And it's funny because it seems like every city has one certain wall that
mhm.
just gets hit every single time.
Solar panels.
Well, it was before then.
Oh, anyway.
Maybe they'll quit now.
Well,
It just, and I did inquire, we have another group that we write, our agency, community insurance agencies, and they do a lot of work with EMC. EMC's in the same boat as far as raising property limits, raising deductibles, raising premiums. It's unfortunate, it's just across the board. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, but boy, there you go.
I have kids deliver the bad news.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for me? So I will leave the invoice packet with Darcy and the losses. She will try to get it to me if you guys need anything else. Email it to the whole council. So,
I need a motion to approve the renewal of the renewal.
Oh, sure.
That's what.
And like I said, I have that breakout, that's like the last few sheets, Darcy.
Okay, yeah,
With
I'll
the,
need that.
Breakouts as far as vehicles.
Yeah.
Properties and such.
We would need, for our renewal, we do need a motion for that to continue with insurance.
So moved.
Second,
Saying it.
Dr. Moore. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Carried. All right.
Thank you.
You bet. Question, and I was told this is, I mean, so that's RC&D, right? Is that to?
Yeah, and I emailed Darcy in March. It's just gonna be some B-roll footage for our heart and soul video.
Yep.
So it's not even audio, right? Probably?
Not audio, and
Yeah.
I'm not filming right now. It's
Yeah.
mainly when she's giving her
I
presentation.
was just curious because all of a sudden I have somebody in the back taking a picture.
You thought you were gonna be on the news
Do we
tonight?
need to sign a release? Just kidding.
You're under 18,
You're
so
already
maybe.
on YouTube then.
Yes,
Okay, good?
thank you.
You're welcome.
I just was curious.
Yeah, you bet.
I didn't know if I
Yeah.
could bring that up out loud or not. That's what I.
Yeah. Somebody had to bring it up out loud, so it's okay. All right. Okay, let's go on then to item 17, which is the consent agenda. Anything in there that's you folks got questions on? Like I said, the main reason we brought that up is because of item F was the application to the Postville Fire Department, and Darwin likes to know that before he takes off. So.
He was approved, so I don't see any problem with
Yeah, he was approved by the department.
I move we accept this consent agenda.
You move, okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, carried. All right, thank you. Okay, then let's go to item 7 then. That's the public hearing on budget amendment for the FY 22-23, resolution number 1392-23, a resolution amending number 2 budget. Darcy, can you
Sure, yeah.
explain that to us?
All right, so end of our fiscal year here and just doing an amendment. This will be our second amendment for the budget year. Overall, what we looked at increasing was mainly to do with our legal fees that we've had incurred here. After I explain, yeah. And then I just did some minor increases to utilities. I am closing out the solar project out at Well 5. That project's complete, and I'll be transferring those funds, which you'll see in your budget transfer, which is your next budget item. I'll be moving that money into the water line project. So it's a little over 24,000 that was left in that fund. We'll be moving it to reserve for that water project we have coming up here next year. So not a whole lot of changes, but I was concerned that we wouldn't make it to the end of the year with the legal fees that we have been incurring here the last few months.
What
So
happens in the solar project, the project is complete, that's money that was ear tagged for that project.
we did, and it was water funds. So money moved out of the water fund into the solar, Well 5 solar project.
Yep.
It came in under what we had anticipated, so it's like 24,999. If you look at your treasure report, you'll see that. I'm going to close that project out because it's done, and I'm going to move that money into the water line project.
Does that solar project then keep generating some money?
Well, it generates a credit to the electricity that Well 5 pumps.
And does it ever get excess to what the pumping is? No.
No,
It helps, but it doesn't
Yeah.
profit, you know.
right, yeah.
It doesn't.
I
That's
think
curiosity.
those bills were running anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 a month. In the summer, we see more of a credit than we do in the winter. It's brought the bill down to about 1,000, 1,500 to 2,000 a month.
So I'm just
what
kind of
it's
curious if the
generated
project
back.
was worthwhile.
Yeah, I would say
You know,
that it
that's-
has been it's
yeah.
been a
And-
benefit to the,
The interest, everything that's there should last a while,
hopefully, yeah.
you know, so.
Mhm.
What was the total cost of the project, Tracy?
Oh,
Remember?
boy.
Just roughly.
Was it, I think we budgeted like 236,000 and it came in
Couple
under
100,000.
that. So-
3,000 a month. For how many months do I pay off?
It was gonna be paid, you know, what we spent, it would pay for itself. I thought they said within 7 years.
And that's what I'm curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6, 7.
Okay.
So now if you want to open it to
All
the
right,
public.
so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing then. Any comment from anybody? Did you all understand what's happening?
I do.
Okay, but citizens too. It's important everybody knows what's going on here. So, if not hearing anything from the public, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. So do we
That's
go?
the resolution and that 1392-23.
All right, so we need to pass that resolution number 1392-23. So we need a motion.
I move we pass resolution 1392-23.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Darcy, whenever you're ready.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Go on to item 8 then. Resolution number 1393-23, a resolution approving budget transfers for FY 22-23. And that's just moving the water.
I move we approve that resolution. 1393-23.
All right, second?
Second,
Okay, Darcy?
Engelhardt,
yes,
Ingstrom,
yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
Yes.
All right. Passes. Thank you. On to item 9, then, Jennifer Pfister, from 219 Oak Drive, as requested. Not here. So we
Just
move on, huh? All right.
We don't vote on that?
No, she didn't show up.
It just gets dropped?
Well, she can come back next month, I guess.
Okay,
Maybe had something come up.
Maybe she'll come, yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah, and if she comes in, we'll bring her back up. All right, then, item 10, street paving bids.
You saw in your packet, there was 2 bids. I think I copied front to back, so you will find that sheet there. This would be for the overlay that we will be doing on Co-op Drive, and this is for your new budget year of July. So River City Paving came in at $69,000, and Kuzner Construction, $82,880.
Well, that's a big difference.
So your low bid would be River City Paving for that project.
Date over here should be May 27th. And we're looking at something that's already
Yeah,
expired.
yeah, that's just
Sorry.
when he probably asked him for the bid date, so, but yes, it will be changed.
All right, so we would need a motion to accept the low bid.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, that's just a common old bid, or
Mhm.
vote. All right, any further discussion? Not all, okay, go ahead.
I just noticed on, co-op, or the River City one, the exclusions include rock placement.
Mhm.
and
So
then-
if you remember last meeting, you approved the bid of Zabo for the core out and gravel and tile on that. So this would just be the overlay.
Okay, so the other person isn't responsible for that either then?
Right, so we have Zabo doing that work,
Okay.
the core out
Okay.
work and the
All right.
rock, yeah.
Okay, Mary?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
All
Uh,
right,
Opposed say no. Carried. All right, thank you. All right, item 11, police. Matt, you wanna?
All right. So last fall, we received the COPS grant from the federal grant. And so I got the okay to start getting job openings out for postal PD. As of right now, the applicants we're not getting any coming in at all. And it's just not Postville, it's everywhere. And because I talked to the local chief, but they got an opening right now too, and they're not getting any applicants as well. So I do still have our reserve status program. Haven't used any of that funding at all, hardly this year. Only have right now only have one full-time or part-time officer now for the reserve status. I would like to utilize him more and get him up and pay so he'll be able to help out the department more on the weekends or whenever anybody's wanting time off, or have at least 2 on at night and weekends. So I am asking that we could, if we can, increase part-time Just Paul to $24 an hour from I think he's at 20.50, or is he at 21?
I thought it was
Right
2150 maybe?
20 is it? Yeah, it might be 21.50.
and this is for who?
Just Paul. He is a certain. He's a retired certified officer, still fully status out of Owine. He lives in Owine, but he works part-time in Hudson as an officer. And then he's worked for Postville now for, I'd say he's probably going on 4 years, 5 years, maybe.
That's a long time.
When you do this, how does that affect the pay schedule of all the other, that can't affect the union people?
It's non-union,
Yeah,
Joe.
he's non-union,
It's non-union.
so that'd be the only other person it'd just be him
That's all, yeah.
affected. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
otherwise everybody's looking at everybody else and saying,
Right,
he got a raise.
right. That's all I got right now. And they're, compared to the full-time staff that's here, it's still lower than what the union people are. But if you're, want to compare apples to apples to all the other agencies around, that's what it's coming down to for get part-time help. That's where these officers are wanting to be at or getting to be.
Right.
Um,
I'm just curious if there was ripple effects through the rest of the pay scales, of non-union employees, How much ripple was on one of them?
Well, I don't know if there be any effects of the union employees. I mean, that's like a 12% increase in pay.
Well, they got their union to back them up if they need,
Yeah, and they're gonna come back and say you just gave them a 12%, so why are you only gonna try offering us less? Is the problem that we'll have.
Well, we need to keep the guy. We can't.
Well, sooner or later, we gotta figure out where money's coming from. I mean, if the money's there, I guess, but have fun when union comes around again.
but that's why I have a reserve part-time budget.
Yeah, but how do you do that when the union and everybody, what's your budget then? Where's that coming from when they get a 10% increase for all your union employees?
That's up to the union.
What do you think they're gonna ask for, Matt? You guys got how much compared to them?
I'm
Now
not-
you're giving a 12% to this guy?
I'm not union, so I can't answer that question for you.
Well, what do you think they're gonna ask for? Less than what we gave you guys and this guy?
Well, I would hope.
Really?
Yes, what's that?
You think they're gonna ask for less? So
No,
why?
No, I didn't say they're gonna ask for less.
Well, we're getting ourselves in a pickle, boys and girls, but do whatever you want. We have so far. We talk there's no money, and boy, we sure have a good time spending it.
Is this coming out of that COPS grant? Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
So the money's there because it's in this reserve officer account, which hasn't been
It
spent.
hasn't been used.
Because he hasn't had any
Right.
work.
But the comparison happens at negotiation time. That's just the facts of life.
Yeah, I know where Ross is coming from, but I don't think that should ever scare you into not. I think it's quite obvious that, to hire folks, it's the money situation, and
So where are we
it's-
making this up at?
Well,
I mean, we're no different than us as
Absolutely
individuals.
not.
Where is our income coming from?
That's right. You're right. You're right. So I would suppose there probably is going to be, after a while, we're going to be doing less paving. We're going to be doing all of this. I mean, you can't provide services for, so where do you want to be? Do you want to be safe? And honestly, I think you got to take a look at our police officers that maybe they might need some time off. It's and this is just me talking. But it's like
Well, when you look at all when you look at all the things that the police department does, all the traffic stops, incidences, people in their homes that are calling for help. I mean, it takes a lot of police officers to take care of all that.
we're trying to be kind, I think what Dennis and Neil had something else we'll have to give
Yeah,
people.
You're
They're big
right.
on safety, they're big on, human type services, they're less likely to.
Bless you.
A street that isn't paved, the street that isn't paved has a few more bumps,
yeah.
they'll look the other way for that, But we have to be cognizant when budget time comes that we make those cuts.
I mean, what's our union employees pull in a year? On an annual basis right now. All the union employees together.
I mean, pull in, what do they make or get, what's
What's their pay
dollar
in a year?
budget?
Total budget, I mean?
for union employees?
I don't think anybody expected that right off the tip of the tongue.
Well, how many are there?
3, 4.
Are we talking about police or are we
All
talking about
together.
everybody?
All union employees.
all-
There's 8.
Which, union or non-union?
Union.
Union.
There's 8.
So saying
8.
an average of 50,000, that's 400,000, and if they get a
Yeah,
So-
but they still are in the-
if they get a 10% increase, that's 40 grand a year. And it'll be a 3-year contract, so there's 120 grand by the time you're to the third one.
I don't think that we can not beef up our police department and pay them enough money to stay.
Is his wage, what affecting him not taking shifts now?
The status with Jess was that he did accept a job back in the fall for the ISP, didn't work out. And so now he called and said, hey, yes, I want to work. But he goes, at this point, he's making more at Hudson. But he said, balancing it out, he goes, he feels, which I do too, any full-time or any certified officer out there in the state of Iowa should be up around that range. 2 years ago, walk on, I think was paying $40 an hour. For years. I don't know what they're doing now, but this day and age, we're doing a lot of work out there, all the officers in the state of Iowa. And, we started off good when we had this with the part-time, the pay was good. Then after this last July with the back to blue, that's what's got everything going, got everything raised up, where these small towns are not finding law enforcement, finding the help that they need, because they got to compete with ISP and sheriff's department.
Yeah, even just the county sheriffs have taken a lot of them away.
Right. And he's a good officer, willing to work. I think we should, pay for what he's worth.
I don't think the discussion is centered around the value of the person. It's the fact of the budget. Where the ramifications of the budget down the road. And I think we got to move on this sometime. I move that we accept resolution 1394-23, but everybody's had the chance to air their opinion on how do we make up for this, what's coming down the road with negotiations, other people, So something will have to be cut down the road.
How many hours does he work?
Oh, it varies, depending on the month. Sometimes it could be 20 hours a month. Sometimes it could be 40 hours a month.
Okay.
Normally, if it's a weekend, it's Friday, Saturday night,
Okay.
double up shift. When one of the officers is going on vacation, if they are a week out and he can do it, he'll put in 40 hours to cover for that officer while they're going on vacation. Or if something comes up, and if he can work his schedule out with Hudson.
Second.
All right, so everybody had discussion enough? All right, Darcy, whenever you're ready.
Engelhardt,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Malcolm,
No.
Mar, Moore.
Yes.
All right. That passes, thank you. Okay, item number 12, our community heart and soul. Crystal.
Here we go with the camera.
So yeah, just to clarify for you guys for the camera, we're just shooting some B-roll so we can use it for our, we're making a movie for Heart and Soul, like a little film to share out with the community. So that's all it's, there might be a part where like maybe someone's dubbing over like, and you know, we shared all this stuff with, you know, city leaders and it's like that. That's my drink. So just for YouTube or anybody who watches later, my name's Crystal Duffy. I'm the community developer and the project coordinator for our Postville Community Heart and Soul. And I just had a couple things to share with you guys and some actual data to share out with you guys too. Before I have little handouts for you guys, but before I get there, I wanted to share, I've been at a couple conferences over this past month. One was the Iowa Rural Development Conference and one was the Welcome in America Conference. And that I had a huge takeaway from each of those, and it was the same takeaway, and it really was in regards to rural communities, childcare success, and welcoming immigrants into your community. None of those things just happen accidentally, and they all take planning and action and focus. And like we see this, I know probably you know this already, but that's really exciting to hear about the childcare situation with the school. Like the centers that are successful in other rural communities have these plans that go out like decades, and the city's involved, and it's like a huge community collaboration. So it's not, they don't happen magically, and I think we know that, but that was just a really big takeaway I wanted to share from my conferences. And then really quickly for the library, if you haven't seen, we're extending our hours starting in June. So just wanted to share that out as well. We're going to be open Tuesdays from 9 to 5 like the rest of the week, and then we're extending Wednesdays till 7. So we're going to be open even later. If we have a good response, we'll keep those hours, and if no one shows up, we'll probably roll them back. But we're just trying to be open more often for people who might work second, third shifts or different times of day or can't come in every day, or trying to be available. So
Crystal, can you give those hours again?
So our new hours are Tuesdays from 9 to 5. It used to be 9 to 1. It'll be starting in June. And then Wednesdays, we're going to be open until 7. Until, it used to be 6. It'll be 7. I think that one we will keep, by the way. I think we'll have a response to that one that will be pretty good. I don't know about Tuesday. Okay, so this is mine. So I'm going to give you a packet that just has sort of a sampling of the data that I'm getting from our Heart and Soul surveys. So that you can sort of see the raw data I get. And then I also have some pie charts, some colorful pie charts. And I'm going to go over this really quick, don't worry. So this is just a sample page from some data I've received from surveys that we've sent out. So we've got these flyers up around town with QR codes on it. I've also made these handouts with QR codes to hand out to people at events so they can take it with them and do it later. For any of you on the city council that haven't done the survey, and I know you haven't all done it, even though it's anonymous, I know. You're welcome to come into the library and we can print it out for you if you don't know what QR codes, or you can come to the library during tech time and I can help you with that technology if you need it. So, so this is only like 10 or so responses. We've got like hundreds, but this is just one page of responses, what I get in raw form. So if you look at the top of the column, we've got the timestamp, and then we've got, what is your favorite thing about Postville? I'm not gonna read all those, you're welcome to. Diversity comes up a lot. And small town feel, and my family's here, and my friends are here, but I see diversity over and over and over again. What are your hopes for this community? Again, I'm not gonna read all of those, but I just wanted to share that what our community is saying, what they are sharing with me. What would make our town better? A lot of things I'm seeing are more community events and things like this, and more grocery store, and some of the things that's really interesting, some of the things we actually have, and I just think we don't do as good of a job sharing about them as we could, and some of the things we don't have. And every now and then you'll get like a water park, and you're like, yes, that's totally what we're gonna do. So I just wanted you to see what we get. The next page is how long has your family lived in the Postville area? You'll see that more in the pie charts. Do you have kids? I thought this was a very telling column. Everybody said yes except for one. We are the youngest community, as far as I know, in the county, if not the entire Northeast Iowa region, if not the Driftless region potentially. A lot of communities are aging and ours is not. So that is a unique feature of Postville. What school do the kids attend? And then how long have you lived in Postville? And then where do you live? So that's what we're asking. And then the next page on the back, we have age, race, ethnicity, gender, household income. And so that's just our raw data. So the pie charts, I'm pretty proud of most of these. Some of them we need to keep working on. So if you go to the colorful side now, these are our responses for our survey that is in English for people ages 20 and older. We have 8 different forms, 8 different surveys because of different languages, because of different age groups. We ask different questions to the kids. So like the kids under 20, we ask, what would make you come back to Postville as an adult? We don't need to ask that question to people that are adults in here. So this is a survey for English speakers ages 20 plus. Do you have kids? Again, we can see 85% said yes, 14% no. How long have you lived in Postville? I'm pretty proud of that spread that we've got going. Initially it was like people who hadn't been here very long who had been answering us mostly, but you'll see that most of our respondents have been here 20 years or more. Where do you live? I'm also really proud of how that spread is. We have 61% in the city. We've got our farmers represented so far on the survey, and we've got our rural residential and other. I have other for I live in Castalia, so I put other for myself. And then on the back, age group, I'm also really proud of that spread. You can see how we've got all of the different age groups represented. Again, we don't have that younger group because that's a different survey. The race ethnicity, we're not doing so good on, but also keep in mind that I have surveys in Somali. So that would be potentially our African-American population, right? They may not all be using this survey. Also, I have surveys in Spanish. That would be our Latino Hispanic population. So they may not be using this survey. So it's not a full picture. But you can see 90% of the people who've responded to this are white. And then gender, and this is the one that we're really trying to work on right now, gentlemen. 81% of our respondents are female. And if I was a gentleman, I would not feel like my voice was being heard on a survey where only 19% of the respondents were men. So again, if you need to take this survey, we have many ways to do it. It is anonymous. And I'm at the library Wednesday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, although not as often because I have more employees now. So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys. Do any of you guys have any questions?
When you combine the Afro-American and the Latino surveys, will that give us a combined data to make this more of a reflection of the whole
Not yet.
population? But they eventually should be, right?
Well, that's the goal. Yeah, our 2 big goals for the process are that our responses get as close to our demographics in town as we can, and that once a lot of the answers start looking the same, which is actually already happening. A lot of people say the same thing over and over again, but I'm seeing a lot of the same types of people too. So we really have to try it. We're working right now. I've told our team we need more men. And Brenda Hackman really did she did at the Alma Key Clayton Electrical Co-op meeting. She literally made them all do it. So that hasn't been added in yet. That should help us. So we are targeting groups now. Whereas when we first sort of released the survey, it was like anybody, now we're like, hey, we're really short. We're not adding up right here. Right now we have a really good spread with under 20 as actually over half of the people who've responded so far. And our town is 60% under 20 or something. So that's really good. So we're doing good on that, but we're not good on all of them. So we're going to keep trying. And we're planning on taking another 2 months roughly to do this survey process. So hopefully we'll get more of those people. We're going in, we're not just sitting and waiting. We are actually going in, I go into La Canasta and talk to the owner before I put a flyer up. So we're reaching out to all the communities that we haven't reached as much as we'd like to yet.
You have to attend an athletic event, I'm just looking, how do you mine this information?
Well, we spent 3 months coming up with a plan for how we would hit everyone in town. And so we just go to our giant spreadsheet that has 50 tabs on it. And so like right now, I'm like, okay, we need to hear from more of our African population. I go to Juba Market. One of my employees is Somali in the Somali community at the library now. And so I kick her out of the library and send her over to Juba and send her to the Islamic Center. And when we get some surveys, come back. So we target, we look at our plan that we came up with together.
I think on how to get more of the men to respond.
Threats.
That's
That's on our plan. We're planning on visiting the club 50-minute coffee group. So
Good idea.
yeah, we literally sat down as a team together. Darcy was part of that. If you have questions too, Mary's part of that. And we're like, how do we reach this population? I've also reached out to Agra and Diane, and she emailed me back, and I took her a packet of flyers and QR codes and explained the whole thing. I don't think they're up yet because I haven't seen a bump. Because where are we going to get men? and some of our Somali population, some of our Latino population, Agra's like, gold mine. So hopefully I will keep emailing them every week. I go, hey, did you get those flyers? How's that working out? So yeah, we'll get more. I'm not too worried, but we could use some help, gentlemen. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
It's kind of, I was looking on the front page here, and then it said, what would make our town better? And then one of them has housing development, and by golly, we're going to start talking
We
about that.
delivered.
Yeah. So item 13 is Hardin subdivision review. Darcy.
All right, so you had in your packet the Hardin subdivision from the Erdman Engineering. They just asked me to provide you this information, and they want to make sure that they're on the right track of what you're asking of them to put together the subdivision. Of course, a lot of this has to do with the best way to route the sewer. So, that pretty much is what it's focused around, is that sewer line. He recommended the colored 2 drawings probably is more ideal. I don't know if I even gave you the one that was not in color. I gave you the one not in color. He said that was his first one, and that doesn't follow the sewer layout like he liked. So the other 2, he kind of just wanted you to review. If you had any comments or any concerns that I could take back to him, I was asked to do that. So.
It's a little overwhelming just to see this many parcels.
Yeah, so just trying to get the number of lots.
Cool.
Of course, the partials have to be within what zoning regulations are. Some are bigger, probably more desirable than others, but every lot would be a buildable lot. We did,
Is this, so this here is coming in off Hardin Drive right here,
right, yeah.
Which would be,
And then there's another roadway on Aspen, if you see that other,
From across the way.
yeah. Like I said, these are preliminary. We also talked about adding some green space, like a park or something into this development, and we talked with them about that. So maybe one of these lots would be considered a green space or a park. So do you have any one you prefer over the other, or any concerns? Or like I said, it mostly has to do with how we get that sewer into
So-
that development.
So what's the difference between the green and the purple, or is it just to separate them? Or, it's like the green ones.
Blue ones, purple ones,
Yeah.
yellow ones.
Yeah, I don't,
Are the purple ones like 1-family homes and blue ones are 2-family homes?
no, I think you would have it zoned, so the zoning would be
Single.
the same. So if you think about it, if it's up again, it would be already in an R2, which is a single or multi-family allowance. So I would say maybe you would probably leave it. It would probably stay that R2, which would allow either or. I think we talked to them about, maybe there's a potential on some lots to do like town
Yeah.
homes
Townhouses, yeah.
or,
Townhomes or
yeah, or duplexes like that. And, maybe
That
that
would
might
make
be
sense,
more
yeah.
desirable for elderly people. We had those conversations.
Would they try developing it in stages or an all-in-one thing or
Well, that
any
would
idea?
probably all come down to what the council wants and where the funding's at. You know, I think at this time we wanted to have a plan
Yep.
on the shelf. If we find a developer, that would be ideal. And we could say, hey, here's what we want, right?
And obviously, some of these, like you talked about, are smaller, but they could buy multiple lots if they
Sure.
wanted.
Yeah,
And multiple lots for a bigger house.
yeah.
Right.
But basically, the sewer would run about, looks like there's kind of a basic pattern here where the sewer would, that always run under the street or close
Right,
under the street.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue is whether or not, you know, we try and stay away from lift stations. And I don't know if that's possible or not. I mean, those are questions that we maybe would want to ask.
You have a lift station right there on the entrance to Hardin Drive.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is, but the question is, would it be able
Yeah,
to
probably be a lot
sustain
larger.
a development
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this? Yeah, where you're looking at, you know,
So we can grow into that.
Which at the same time, it doesn't hurt to have multiples because if you can tie them together and one goes down, you aren't completely out.
So where do we go from here? I'm impressed at how well
I
this,
just,
yeah,
there's, I,
development
it's,
select.
he just asked me to present it to you
Yeah.
because, you saw the bill was in the box. He wanted to make sure you saw what he did and if you had any concerns or questions or.
I think sometime if he would be willing, it'd be nice to just come go over the different
Yeah.
designs
Okay.
to
Certainly.
get what his actual thought is rather than us just
Maybe
looking
why
at a
the
picture.
patterns are a little different.
Right,
You know, just-
right.
I-
Well, you got lots of questions. I think that's exactly what we need to do.
Right.
And then you guys just got this, so
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
you don't know what,
If he comes to present, could he make these in bigger drawings?
Sure.
Just a piece of paper, you know,
Yeah, they could be something that goes either projected or whatever
something,
even.
yeah,
But
just
yeah,
easier to conceptualize.
because it's hard to see what you get all the contours and I mean the contours are nice, but it's hard to see the lots within the contours sometimes.
and I've got a little bit of advantage over you guys because I planted this.
I'm
So I kind of know how that lays out, you know, so yeah,
sure there's a lot of
it's planted.
sure there's a lot of potential for walkout basements and things like that out there. If there's enough grade.
Well, yeah, and to see if there is meaning to the different colors.
Right.
And maybe if the streets were like a solid whatever, it'd be easier to tell what the streets were.
Yep.
But, yeah.
You want a virtual tour, don't you, Mary?
Kind of.
Oh,
Doing
yeah.
wholesale.
The price just went up.
Okay, I just meant.
But things like this are what are gonna pay for other things too. I mean, we gotta
Yes,
drive
yes.
property tax,
Yeah.
you know, not just the individuals that are here, but to increase the valuations of more homes, basically. We gotta have growth in order. I mean, if we don't grow, we're going backwards.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's,
Well, and that's the only place we can grow.
Right.
We can't go north, we can't go.
Not at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, so. Okay,
but at least we've got it. We've got a possibility,
yes,
you know. so,
yeah, yeah. I just-
All right, so I will touch base with him again and see when he's available. Maybe he could come and we could go over it.
And I think something like that, just a quick note would be if we could get him kind of towards the beginning, so he's not sitting here during the whole
Yeah.
meeting either.
We can do. All right.
Okay.
Anything else on that, you guys?
Portion good.
All right, so let's go on to item 14, then zoning code discussion.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is on the agenda due to the tiny home request that you had and the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission and their recommendation to you. And then I included in your packet comments from the city attorney who provided you 2 copies of ordinances. The only 2 he knows about in the state of Iowa is from Marshalltown and Fort Madison. Fort Madison had a very limited, they only allow tiny homes to nonprofit groups. And then the Marshalltown one, he said, was based on the International Residential Code, which he did send me. However, I couldn't print it for you because it said I needed a subscription. So, but I can look at that. It just kind of talked about the size and stuff. I guess his biggest concern was how much people in the community push the envelope when it comes to housing and what's allowed here. So he has some concerns with that when it comes to tiny homes, like maybe number of residents or what could happen with that.
Did the planning and zoning commission see the state of California?
No, they did not. No. They only heard from the individual that was
Yeah.
requesting, and that's basically what they listened to. And so then when I went back to the city attorney for how we begin or have him look at an ordinance or draft, he sent this back to me. Now, if you're looking to change your zoning ordinance, you would have to set a public hearing to do so. So if that's something you're wanting to do, that would be your next step, but we would need to get an ordinance draft. And I don't know how you want to go about tiny homes, so it's completely up to you.
So in the zoning draft, an ordinance, can you put where they are and aren't allowed, like different zones as far as that goes of?
Yep. So, and originally when the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this, they recommended just in the R3, which is R3 is only in where the trailer park. That's what an R3 is. So there's no other R3 in
We only
town.
have one of them, right?
Right.
How can you get a developer, or how can this qualify as nonprofit?
Exactly. So that's the
But we don't
question.
have to be.
You don't have to,
Yeah.
but that's what other towns have done. He said a lot of cities are staying away from the tiny home. I mean, if you think about the tiny homes, usually you see them, in the rural areas. It's more for outdoor living. You're not seeing them in the urban settings. That's just, you just
Developer
don't.
must retain ownership for a minimum of 5 years. How do you guarantee that?
Exactly.
That's the developer owning the tiny home itself?
Well, that's this ordinance.
Oh, this
for-
one,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or we have
We
a
wouldn't have to
developer?
do it that way. We could,
Or you could not do it at all. It's
Individuals
completely
could
up to
own
you.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Now, is this plot, is at the trailer park, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, is he wanting to own a tiny home and rent it out?
Yes.
He doesn't want to sell the lots.
Not that
Not
we
right now, he wants
caught,
to-
no.
But
Put
then
'em
that,
up.
all that, this 5-year thing would be all his responsibility, then it wouldn't have anything to do with us.
Well, it does if he pulls out, or, how do you hold them to? I think the question is, how do you hold them
Well,
to?
hold who, the owner of the of the trailer park?
What's that?
Hold who to it, the owner
Yeah.
of the trailer park?
Yeah,
Because he'd own them.
He would own it, so if he owns it, then it's his deal with the people who are renting from him. We wouldn't have anything to do with that. We could just say that we'll allow a tiny home, but only in the R3 zone. Right? We
What
could do
code does it
that.
comply with?
Well, you'd have the housing code, right? Which we would be enforcing because it'd be considered a rental. So that's where you think about pushing the envelope. Is it more than what can be in a tiny
That's what I'm
home?
saying, regardless of what zone it's in.
Right,
Like he's suggesting, it has to have some kind of code that it's going to be in compliance with.
right, yeah.
And I don't know how tiny homes can like fit in with the regular housing code.
Mhm. Right, well, it would have to comply with the housing code, which
Yes.
is, I think it reads 2 adults per bedroom. Well, I don't know, a tiny home. I'm not
One
But
quite
a lot
sure.
of people have a little bit of space.
Not
Well,
even
we
one
get-
bedroom.
You get a full bed,
Yeah, it was,
bunk.
remember how
bed in the
we
wall.
saw the
type of thing.
schematics last
Very
month on that,
Yeah.
So they are
Exactly.
very small.
Now,
And you guys refreshed my memory, I think, and I hate to bring this up because Pat's not here, but he's gonna rent these out, and I'm pretty sure that he was saying $900 a month. If you can only get one person honestly in something like that, how is
Well,
one
if you ever
person
watch
gonna ever
HGTV
pay
and
that?
See all those tiny homes in the loft, you have to climb up to get to bed. I don't have no objection to it, to be honest with you, as long as it's in that one spot.
Yeah, I know that we've got, with lots of rentals, you have more folks staying
Yes.
in these, and how many can you put, in a tiny home?
That would not.
And to be able to afford that, You know, $900 a month, I don't know.
I don't know.
And how are those? And I mean, he's building them, correct?
Yes.
So how does that go about as far as being inspected to, meet those standards of like codes of
You're right.
electricity and all that? I mean,
I asked that
I just have
question.
some concerns of
Yeah.
safety issues of that we don't approve something that
Exactly.
could come back on us,
And those questions can be asked,
Right.
too. But, I did Google that today. Tiny homes and kind of
Well,
I looked at, because he was saying last month, 50,000 right to bill. And by golly, they said 53.
Yeah.
So I guess he did tell us the truth on that one. So,
Well, and the idea of it for him in particular, the lot isn't big enough to put a full-size trailer on it. Is that the deal?
That's correct. However, if you look at the trailer park, there's multiple lots that have no trailers on them. So I could see if the
full
park
up.
was full and you
Yeah.
had these lots that were non-compliant for a mobile home, what the code requires. But wouldn't you concentrate on those other lots that is able to, fit families in them before you'd be concentrating on these
Yeah, that
smaller
makes
lots?
sense.
I mean,
That makes sense, yeah.
Well, I have a couple questions. Does he rent out his trailers out there? Or are those owned by people?
Probably both.
there's one owned by an individual that pays lot rent.
Okay,
The rest are all owned by him
and he rents them.
and he rents them
Okay.
out. Yeah.
And then what's in the apartments, are most of those apartments rented out or do we have a lot of empty spaces or?
I
You mean
I don't
out there?
know.
Is there apartments out there?
No, and the other
Just in
two.
general.
Oh, the other
I didn't
areas.
know if there was a real
Need
housing
for housing.
crunch, this would be a fast way to grind out some places to
I
rent.
think when we
you know.
inspected the States Drive apartments, I want to say there was maybe 4 vacant that
Okay,
the inspector said.
so there was a need,
So, but I don't know about any other
Yeah.
rentals in town.
Is that only zone 4 trailer houses there, Darcy?
Right, R3 is the only code section that allows them, and that's the only zone that, where mobile homes are allowed is the R3, and that's the only spot.
Well,
I was just
You know,
wondering if he ever wanted to do, excuse me, Mary, but I
Yeah.
was wondering if he ever wanted to do something different of duplexes or something, if that could be changed to do something along those lines, if that would help.
I think you could do that if you went to the Board of Adjustment. You can
Yeah.
put that in there, but R3 is strictly mobile home
Mobile
parks. Yeah.
Okay.
well, on the other hand, with a tiny house, older people might want to rent it, especially if they're $900.
well, that's just, Bob, you got something?
Planning and zoning, when we met, we made it specific to him that we wanted to see a storm shelter up there. So that's our recommendation to you folks. There should be a storm shelter up there for those people.
Well, that's a good idea.
So where do we go from here with this?
Well,
Well,
what
I-
are your thoughts? I
yeah.
mean, do you want tiny homes up there? Do you not? Do you want to restrict them somehow? What are we doing? What do you want to see?
Well, I wish I knew what his looked like. I mean, if it was cute, it would be kind
they're
of
cute,
cute
yeah.
out there,
See, maybe he's
I
planning
think
on
he's
putting
got
tiny
one or two
homes on
built.
all the
I
other
thought I
lots.
heard.
Yeah, he does.
But, if they were attractive, it
Mary.
wouldn't deter.
I think he does have one or two built if you ever wanted to. Or
Yeah, he
can
does.
probably let
Yeah,
that
I want
go.
the, I want the
Remember.
virtual tour.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Try to do that. Probably wouldn't take long.
Quick tour.
Well, I would think that with all the questions we got, maybe
Have him
Pat
back
needs to
again.
come back,
Yeah.
and then, because I don't know if there's any point discussing this any further until we get Pat back here and he can tell you.
And give me a picture.
You
Yeah.
want more, so you have more questions for Pat Stone.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yes.
I think we need to get Pat back.
And a
then-
virtual
And
tour.
I hate to delay these things, but at the same time, we need to make an informed
Yeah,
decision.
you want to know what your decision, you want to know. That's right. Because you guys have got to make the decision. So yeah, you need to be informed on that.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we're on item 15 then, city fees.
Okay, so I put in your packet our fee schedules of what we kind of charge for things. It look like this, fee schedule.
Yep.
All right, last time you looked at this was in April of 20. So I think it's time to look at it again. Do you want to make any changes to what we charge for items? Just one thing I kind of made a note it is lawn mowing. It'd be, we charge 75 per hour for snow. We'd like to make it the same for mowing.
You put that in, already.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Okay.
The meters, we usually change those based on what we pay when we order them. So that's just kind of a pass through. If we have to charge for the meter sizes, and this is the most current is what I wrote.
Is there anything restricting us from adding something on top of that, Darcy?
No, yeah, absolutely, we can add. We always charge a $5 admin when we bill out. That's administrative for our stamp and administrative
That's not very
costs.
high, that could be added a little bit
Do
more.
you want to increase that?
10,
10?
I'm thinking.
Okay,
What was
anybody?
it on again? I agree, that sounds.
Office
I mean,
admin.
Third $1.
What's
It's five
office stuff
now.
take? Probably 15, 20 minutes on some of
It
that
just
anyway?
depends on what
Right.
it is, yeah.
I mean, you aren't gonna go anywhere anymore and find anything over 50 to $100 an hour that's getting done. So you're still, I mean, 20, 25 probably isn't out of line even, to be honest. I mean, if you take 15 minutes and $100 an hour, that's $25.
Yeah, that's true.
So you want 15? 25, is it? You want
Well, that'd be, if it takes you 15 minutes, that'd be $100 an hour, and you don't find too much for under $100 an hour for labor anymore for charge out. I mean, I hate to be bearer of bad news, but like I keep saying, it's not that I don't want people to be paid. It's just that we have to have the revenue, and where do you get it? So
The labor charge is 45 an hour, that isn't so much either.
no, we're almost getting to the point that some of that is breaking even anymore.
Right.
So I think you could
Which
go
doesn't do much
50
for us.
75 an hour on the after hours.
75 for after hours city
Yeah.
labor.
I'm thinking.
Well, they're getting time and a half there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Have to pay them.
$50,000 person is getting $1,000 a week. Say that's $25 an hour right there. Plus time and a half is $37.50.
Mm-hmm.
So on duty labor charge, we should bring that up too.
What amount?
50. I'm just throwing out numbers that seem right.
Yeah, I think you got to at least double what you're paying out because there's other stuff that go along with it. It's not just the wage.
$25 each way, isn't that,
That's a shut off if a plumber needs to do a
plumber.
repair for a curb stop. We shut the water off at the curb.
so then 25 each way, and how much is
So
he
that's
gonna charge
50.
us for that?
No, they would be charging the homeowner because it's like, say if you had a leak and you need your
Okay.
water shut off at the curb
Okay,
for the
I
plumber.
gotcha.
A lot of times if they're too scared to ask because they don't know where the curb stop is or they're afraid it don't work, they'll do a freeze kit. So you'll see the cost there of those freeze kits.
Mhm. Oh,
In
yeah.
town is 75, out of town 125. I don't know,
Mhm.
that was last set in 2019. I don't know if you want to change that at
Do
all.
we still do some out of town or no?
We don't.
mean,
Usually it's in town.
yeah.
If it's out of town, it's the plumber wanting it and
Okay.
then we bill the plumber.
A curb stop, turn off for $25 each way.
Yeah, so
Okay with that?
$50.
What?
$50 for a plumber.
Turn it off, turn it on. So $25 off, $25 on. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
They're gonna get charged by the plumber as well, and then by the.
Yeah.
That
Whatever
freeze
work
kit
it
rental, do we only offer that to like plumbers or do we allow,
Right. No, usually
Okay.
it's just plumbers that are
Yeah.
contacting us.
do we need to specify that to protect ourselves
We
or
can-
not? You
You want me
think?
to add that language? Licensed
Might,
plumber.
might
only.
not hurt. How much was our new end loader? Do you remember?
is it 100? And I do not know off the top of my head.
Okay. I just know the old rule of thumb, and I don't know if it still holds true, is about 1% of that per hour for usage.
Okay, of what the unloader cost?
Yeah.
1%, I'll look it up.
So if it was 100,000, it'd be 100. But
And it was well over 100,000.
Yeah. so you could kind of base it off of that. Does anybody yearly use the paint machine or not?
We have requests to paint, which we
Okay.
do, and we charge. So that's is us doing it and doing it.
So then we get the labor charge plus the paint machine.
Yeah, correct. Usually it's businesses running lines in the
Oh,
parking
sure.
lots or
Yep.
post office, I think.
Now, in the street barricades, our people have to go take them to where they belong, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's not very much.
Do we get a delivery charge on them, or that's just included in the use of it?
Yeah.
$3 per day.
I don't think we do a delivery charge.
Okay.
We probably should.
We could make that more
Usually
money to
someone's
start with.
picking them up. Usually it's a contractor's picking them up from us if they need
Okay.
them. You want to change that, you said,
I think
to how
so.
much?
Well, for the barricades, at least 5.
5 per each?
And cones, another 5. Well, they're probably not as big, so.
3?
In the lawn mowing and shoveling, we sub that out usually. Is that correct?
We have not been. The
Okay,
city's
we've been
been
doing it.
doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so last year we were fortunate to have 2 summer kids.
Oh,
That helped
sure.
a lot in the
Yep.
summer, but I did put the notices out this year. We've had no applicants. So we'll see how we do on that.
Yeah, I guess that's just something that we'd have to adjust if, depending on.
The lawn mowing, you remember that we serve notice. If they don't do it, we do the mowing, $75 an hour, minimum of an hour charge. And then if it needs it again, we do not give notice. And if we have to mow it, it's the hourly charge plus a $250 administrative
Okay.
cost each time. That's per your habitual offender code.
Okay.
And I asked about that for snow, a habitual offender, and the city attorney advised against it. So
So if they don't pay it, then what do you do? Add it to their taxes?
we send on the bill to the owner, and if they don't pay, we'll assess to the property tax. If it's like a tenant issue and we have their social security, we can hold their income tax returns with the state. That takes a lot longer to collect, if at all.
And compost doesn't seem like we have a buildup like some towns, so that's fine to be charging for that, I would say.
With all this extra money, we could pay a police officer.
Yeah. Can we make it through pretty much everything?
I think so.
Think so, yeah.
All right, so I will make those changes
All
on.
right, you got those?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's go on to 16 and garbage contract and
All right.
fees.
So I gave you a copy of the garbage contract. I just received that late last week. I did send it over to the city attorney. He's still in the process of just reviewing it before we sign. I wanted to discuss with you what you want to do with your garbage rates. We need to draft an ordinance change, which will be on your June meeting. And I kind of wanted a direction on where you want to be with those before June, so they're in that ordinance. Just so you know, this garbage company, Klusner, I hope I'm saying that right. They have teamed up with Town and Country, and this last Wednesday, they were picking up with their arm, their robotic arm. We had a lot of confusion, a lot of phone calls, people upset. I have a feeling this is gonna kind of be a struggle. But I think what people didn't understand, we were surprised too, because we didn't know that they had teamed up with Town and Country. But Town and Country is still picking up. It's just a partnership they've done with them to try and learn the town before they're taking over in June. They've worked out a deal that they're going to, Town and Country is going to just basically, they worked out some deal with the garbage cans.
I was wondering if they would.
So
do that.
those will stay. They're not going to do a pickup and drop off. However, every residential will get recycling. If you have an issue with your can, let us know, before the July 1st date. So we need to educate people. Because of that arm, they pick up on the right side. So they'll come up a street right side, somehow do their route. They're coming back on the right side. People were confused, thinking garbage got missed. Well, they hadn't turned around and come back yet.
Sure.
We need to educate people the way their can needs to be. So the handles towards the house. People should have it out early, night before. Highly recommend. They're in this town starting at 6 a.m. and it might not be the same route Town and Country had. So we're going to do a mass mailing here by the end of this week to every residential with the notice there's going to be new garbage, what they expect. Be patient. It's a learning curve for everyone. So with that being said, I gave you a copy of your current ordinance, and I want to talk about what type of fee you want to charge. The last time you raised your garbage rates was in 2013. So
I have a question. What is a cardboard dumpster?
Cardboard dumpster, there currently is one. It is at the street garage. When Town and Country picks up the cardboard, that's where they take it. There's a dumpster.
Oh. Okay.
So they're going to be bringing a dumpster in for cardboard specifically. People can either bring their own cardboard there. I don't know if they're going to pick it up. Did it say in the contract?
I didn't notice that.
I don't
It's
think
funny
they're
'cause
picking it
In
up.
my mind, I was thinking it was a dumpster.
No, it's a
I mean, it was
dumpster
just
just
my
for
head,
cardboard.
The helmet.
And it'll be located at the street garage. So if people have cardboard, that's where they can take it.
What is the idea that they're giving us recycling?
Yeah, you'll get a
I thought they weren't recycling.
They are, and it'll be automated. So you'll get a recycling can that'll be the same size as your garbage can. And that is how they pick up the
It'll probably
recycling.
indicate that it's.
Every
for
other week.
Every other
recycling.
week, yep. Garbage every week, recycling every other week.
And they get both. Then they'll pick up both at that time.
Right, yep.
Except for cardboard.
Correct.
Okay.
That can be taken to the street garage.
But that smaller cardboard, just not large cardboard, is
Right.
that correct? Smaller can still go in the recycling or no?
That's a good
Put
question.
anything in there, they said, as long as it meets their recycling guidelines, it's just if you want to save space. If you
Sure.
wanna have
Oh, I
extra
got you.
recyclables,
Yep, I got you.
you
Yep.
put it in.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
So what size are the dumpsters we have now? Are those,
I think they're like 1 yarders, aren't they?
You talking the
The ones
totes that
you're
we got in the
Yes,
carts,
totes,
the
yeah,
carts?
those totes.
Oh, you're so everybody could be different. It's either
But I
a
mean,
90.
What are the standard ones? 96 or
Yeah, well, that's the largest. Most people have a 64.
64?
And there was a few elderly that did a smaller
Did
one,
have
I
the
think, wasn't there, but they were
35,
the same
Same
price,
price.
yeah. Cause yeah, we did have a markup before, is that correct, Darcy?
We did, because if you read your code, it says in there fees, the
Right.
fees for combined solid waste, recycling of solid waste, and yard waste collection and disposal service is part of those fees.
Yeah.
So I think this last year we're close to 12,000 with TW grinding for that compost pile. I think it keeps going up. I feel like we keep having more that we're doing grinding and screening. And so out of your solid waste expenditures on your budget, we pay for garbage collection, compost, the TW grinding, screening and grinding, and then that leaf wagon. So any repairs to that, the fuel for that, that's all paid out of what we collect through the garbage.
And then the fund that we did start for
Was
trees
for
or
tree
whatever?
removal,
Okay.
yeah. And then we've talked about some tree planting, but however, we've been writing grants. We did just get one from Black Hills. Matter
Sure.
of fact, we are gonna be doing some planting this week in the
Okay.
parks. So
Yeah, because Black Hills and
Planting's
Light used to,
easier.
right?
removal, not so much
Right.
with grant money.
So what do we charge right now on that tree
$250
removal per month?
per month, and that's commercial accounts too. That's everybody.
Does that make sense at some point to move that tree removal to a tree removal and getting rid of it, the grinding fee out of that same one
I would
and
agree.
increase that?
Yeah. You can look
God
at
bless
your treasure report. That'll
Yep.
show you, because that
Yep.
is separate on there of what it
I just
generates.
thought
a month.
if we could combine those, it would be cleaner as far
Yeah,
as,
I thought about that, yeah.
I know Decorah just went through that. I don't know what their rates were, but I think it was, what they say, 127,000 a year it would raise them. Not saying that we're Decorah by any means, but it might make
So
sense
the
to,
$250 is $250 per $2.50
yeah, per month.
for garbage?
No,
We're
for,
talking about the tree fund that we started, the tree
For-
utility.
Okay.
Yeah, remember you
for
talked about that?
removal of
for
trees and
removal?
stuff, and I was talking of combining that with the grinding.
The composting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
make that and the composting all one. They'd be more uniform than taking it out of the
Garbage.
garbage fee. So you had a better idea of where you're standing if you get those entities separated a little bit. Because I mean, there is some administration and stuff that goes along with the garbage billing and things like that too. I mean, I think you still have to get a buck or two at least on the garbage side, and more than that if you're going to do your tree removal and stuff through it.
The other thing we talked about is the tags for
Oh.
excess garbage. You have to come here and purchase them. You have to tell me what you want to charge for those. They want $4 a tag, and they want to sell us a bunch up front, so we'd have
So you
a
have
large
them on
amount, so
hand,
we have them
yeah.
on hand. Also, the large items, $30 they want to charge for that. I don't know, I assume we would buy some bulk tags to have those on hand as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And are we charging 30 for those, or are we charging 35? I guess those are questions I need to know when drafting this ordinance.
So all this information will be in the mass mailing?
No,
Oh,
Just
what
that
will
they're
be in the
gonna have
mass
people
mailing is new contractor,
is
when
going
they're
along with it.
coming, how you have your garbage out, that there will be a rate increase, right? But you haven't told me what it is yet, so I don't know.
Well, you
So-
can put something in
well,
the
I
paper
mean,
too.
Yeah.
but a lot, this is different, the bag tags, so.
Yeah,
I think
but
should
we have
more-
to buy them up ahead, up front.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think it needs to be
Yeah,
explained.
so we're gonna explain
So,
what large item, how you have to buy a tag now,
Yes,
excess garbage, you have to buy a tag.
Not the rates.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other part, this should drive recycling more than what we currently had, because they're going to give you the same size of container for recycling.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I knew recycling wasn't really getting done, so I just had the bigger container and put everything in it. So
Another thing I think that's gonna be hard is contractor charges $50 fee for toter switch outs.
yeah,
I mean, right now they do it for
right,
no charge,
Right.
and that's gonna be hard for people.
right.
If they switch out from one size to the other.
Is there much of that goes on or not?
Mhm.
Is there?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it'll slow that down, I bet.
Yeah,
I just think those extra bag tags should be $5 and make it a lot easier than.
okay, so that's what you wanna charge
That's
for
what I'm
them?
suggesting.
Large items was 35, right?
Okay,
Okay.
That's making it enough.
Well,
For each
there's a
piece,
catch-22.
right? Each piece.
You want it enough, but you don't want it so much they don't
Yeah.
get rid of it, or it starts ending up in the country
right.
in road ditches.
Right.
And that already scares me at the 30, to be honest with you.
Well,
Is
no,
what it
you
is.
have like four items, they'd have. to have a tag
$120
each
bucks on
item.
it, yeah.
Yeah. That does make it.
There is no more free large item pickup, correct?
May 20th will be your last one.
And we get a 50% increase in price, basically, and lose that.
But one thing you can tell people is we have not raised our garbage rates since
Right.
2013. So
So this is what we're being charged.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and so I'm asking you what you're charging, the city's gonna charge.
Oh, yeah. we're not doing
Unless you want to go
that.
backwards.
I know.
It'd be like 25, looks like 30 for a 96 and 25 for a 64.
So you're saying 30, 96, and 25 for a 64?
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice and even numbers. I
You
like
gotta,
that.
you gotta make some money on this stuff someplace.
Yeah,
You gotta,
right.
you know,
But we're also offering them this, we're not doing the citywide cleanup anymore. And you can't have extra recyclables and only picking it up every other week.
Yeah, what does happen on that recycling if you have extra recyclables and they're only picking
I
up
told
every
him
other
to
week?
ask him. He said you have to get another tote. You
That,
can't have
and
extra
that's gonna
recyclables.
cost you or no? If you
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
another
same
tote for,
price. Yeah,
Pay the same monthly.
what's the tote cost?
so you're getting 2 totes right now for the whatever size for
yeah.
this price?
Mhm.
Getting 2 totes for the $30.
Right,
Of
recycling
96.
and a garbage.
So you get 2 96-gallon ones.
recycling is 64 gallon, I think.
Okay,
Recycling is a bit smaller than the.
okay, so regardless of the recycling's a
Yeah.
64 gallon.
Okay.
I think so.
But, and so that one would be at 25? That's all part of it.
What, yeah, that's
Part
what
of the
I'm,
$30.
Right. The recycling goes with, you get a 64-gallon recycling from what they're saying, and then you get either a 96 or a 64 garbage.
because I asked the question, what if somebody has multiple garbage cans? Would they get multiple recycling? And they said yes. The recycling goes with that garbage can. So
So
if
if
you
you
have,
need an extra recycling, you're getting an extra garbage. And they're just gonna double your bill.
your bill just gets doubled.
That's kind of like an apartment scenario, looks like.
Oh, you'd be surprised. The number of toters we've got to some
People that have
homes.
multiple
Yes.
toters
Mhm.
at one household.
And currently, we don't have a limit on recyclables. You can put as much
Right.
recyclables as you want to have
Right.
your own.
Right.
But we said we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
For the extra recyclables.
Mhm. Because it's all automated. You have to
Right.
remember that. They're
Right.
not getting out and handling that garbage like Town and Country did. So,
Yeah, the aggravating part is you have weeks that you don't never fill the thing up, and then you have a week that you're over and you're being penalized for that.
or you just hold it back and
Right.
put it in the next
Right.
weeks.
Or maybe your neighbor doesn't have as much
Right.
and they'll let you.
That's right.
Some of them have a big pile.
What's the current garbage charge for a 96 and a 24?
Uh,
64.
Right, 60, well. a
They're the
60
same, right?
Yep, 17 right now for 65, right? And a 95 is 21. Your ordinance you had in your packet.
I think the price I told you is where it should be.
Okay, is
Yeah.
everybody in agreement then? So I'll have the city attorney,
$5, but that didn't change for 10 years.
yeah.
Right.
What
So,
you do is keep raising them every year.
okay,
So what was the proposal?
$5 for an excess tag. Large item tag is 35. A 96 gallon will be $30 a month. A 64 gallon will be 25 a month.
I
So
would- Just food for thought, I would leave that large item tag at cost.
at 30,
Because all we gotta do is hand it to them and collect, right?
correct.
And I don't wanna, I mean, that's already enough. I don't wanna discourage people from getting that.
We don't have to probably.
I mean, if we're making the $5 a month already, why do we need another $5 for every large item? I don't want it. That's what'll happen. It'll start ending up in the country in the road ditches.
All right, so we're leaving the large tag at 30.
If you're okay with that, as far as
It makes
handing
sense.
it out.
Yeah,
That's fine.
all right, so I'll have the city attorney draft your ordinance for you to review and take action.
So is there gonna be something we gotta let them know if we wanna change from the current size we're at now?
You should let me know now, yes,
Okay.
otherwise you're at $50 after July. So let us know right
So
away.
Town and Country's gonna have
Yes,
to be the
we're
one
gonna
to go
let
around
Town
and
and
change
Country
it.
know to swap it. yes.
Oh,
Also, the
I
extra
would think I
bag
would
tax,
not
though,
be
doesn't
happy.
take anything from us. We got the large item pickup, right? Because they're just coming with the truck anyway, they're picking it up.
The
So, I mean, if
tags,
we're increasing the monthly rates on the totes, Also the extra bag tax for $4 each or whatever. We're not doing anything with that.
No,
right?
we're not.
So our
That's true.
excess garbage now, we charge, Town and Country charges us $2, we
Right.
charge $4. The city charges $4.
Right, so if we leave this $4
At
at four, I'm
$4.
saying, why do we need to increase that? 'Cause
Well, one
we're
thing
not
to
doing
remember
anything.
is we also fund that composting. So remember $12,000 to TW
What do we
grinding.
got? How many are getting garbage service, Darcy?
600 and like 65
And your
residential
four,
homes. But some could have multiple cans. I don't know that off the top of my head without running reports.
Four something or 600
Let
something.
me
You say?
see, I think I had it in the quote schedule here. I said
665?
6.
So if we average $4 increase, that's about 32,000 a year.
635 accounts is what we told
635?
them. Yeah.
So you
So we
generate
have to
about
make-
30,000 over cost. If you average $4 over on it.
So they're charging that $4
Yeah,
for the extra
they are.
bag.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now, we're making 2.
Right, we make 2 off in excess garbage. They,
Yes.
Town and Country charges us 2, we charge the homeowner 4.
But now they'll charge us 4.
They're charging us 4,
So if we went up to 5, we'd make $1 on it.
yeah.
Is 30,000 enough to cover the other fees associated with that and be fair to administration on it?
I think so, but like I said, gas prices
Right.
have gone up. I'm sure TEW grinding's probably gonna go
Right,
up, but
right.
it all depends on the volume that we see in that composting site
Right.
that is driving those prices and, the leaf wagon, wear and
Which,
tear.
are we through a lot of the ash trees or do we still have a fair number to come down?
I think he's getting end of the list, but we're going into a new budget year that you're gonna be
Right.
looking at another list of things that we couldn't afford to
Yeah.
do. Remember, we had like 20,000. I said we only have 10 to spend. You're probably gonna be looking at that other half.
And then
But we
hopefully,
do have
they'll slow
some
down
money
after that,
generated
hopefully.
now in that tree removal fund. Not a lot, but
Right.
some.
so probably another 18,000 a year we generate in that, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
So about 50,000 that we
Yeah, I
have
think
between
when
the two.
I think when I ran a revenue and expense report on that waste, I think ending balance, we were right at like 4,000 positive.
Okay.
So it's not a real,
No.
it's not.
How
we're not
much
trying
did
to
we,
gouge.
how much are we getting charged currently with Town and Country yardage?
16.
So that one was getting pretty tight.
Yeah, it was started, like
So,
I
I mean,
said,
if
we
we're
hadn't
going to
raised the rates
4
since
now, we would-
13.
Should be all right
Yeah,
if we even did do the tags at cost and the large item at cost. Because we were probably only getting 7,000 a year, 8
that's correct. Yeah.
of generated. Now we're talking 30.
Okay, so we're gonna leave the excess tags at cost then at 4. Right? Is that what everybody decided?
For the extra bags.
Yeah.
And if you notice on the Klusner contract that they do, so in 2 years, they're going to go up also,
Right.
and then if they go up, not much, what is it?
75 cents, basically.
Yeah. And then last year, the contract, it's $2.
I'd be pretty surprised if you don't have more bidders the next time this comes up at a cheaper rate than what this is. This is by far the highest one that Winnebago County landfill has got coming into them for a city.
Really, Postville?
So I think you could test Oshton and Calmer, but I don't know if they're at $15 a month yet.
Um,
How do they get it so cheap?
Because we were in a pinch, Larry.
What?
We were in a pinch.
Well, yeah,
So this guy came in and did what he could do.
yeah.
That's why I was encouraging and Devore asked about it, not doing a 5-year contract because it's kind of a robbery we're getting, but we're stuck at where we are. I mean, he'll be making he'll pay for a truck in 5 years.
Well, we can revisit these prices in 2 years before the 2-year price hike, can't we?
No, this is our contract.
Yeah,
So
that's-
I mean, we can revisit. the
Oh,
prices.
as far as
Oh,
what
for
we
the
charge
council,
out,
yes,
yeah.
we'll need
Oh,
to.
yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Well, what would it take to, remove ourselves from the contract with Winnebago County landfill? I'm gonna ask TJ Schissel that, or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Um,
TJ.
He was
they
saying that
said-
we have to apply to the
What they
DNR or
told
something.
me was they've never let anybody out.
And I don't think you want out, because if you get out, you're not gonna get back in, and then they really got you.
Yeah.
Because right now they're independent. And landfill's high, but at least they're independent of the hauler. Once you get to the point you lose that, the hauler's got all the control because he's going his landfill. I don't know about Kleesner, but
But they're keeping their prices so much lower by not needing to go to Winnebago, right?
well,
Is that
no,
what it is?
the ones in Winnebago County all go to Winnebago. Like Dan that was here. And like I say, check with Kelmer and Osham, but I don't think they're over $15 a month, but that's all going to Winnebago. So yeah, we're paying a
really
substantial
don't know.
Who
increase.
owns theirs?
Who's?
Calvin Washington.
I think they have Malcolm.
Malcolm, yeah.
I feel like we have a large volume of garbage.
We do.
I think these
We do.
people were shocked.
Yeah.
When they came in to help Town and Country, like stunned,
How
the
much
amount
they-
of garbage.
We do.
So, that makes a difference.
You got more families, more younger
Yeah.
families, you got a lot more food, a lot more
Yeah.
stuff gotta go through.
Diapers.
Garbage.
So, okay, well, I will have the city attorney draft that in your ordinance and you'll review that next month.
Yeah, and then, but before 2 years is up, we'll review
Yeah,
this again.
absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Well, and then we'll have a truer number too of what's in that
Sure will.
account of what we've carried over every year.
Yep.
Carryover ends up in the general, or does it say in this account, Darcy?
Yeah, the garbage is in the general
Okay.
fund, but it's got its
But-
own line account.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because that'll help us determine whether we need to or not need to or whatever.
All right. We're all happy with that one? Kind of, sort of?
Happy
Okay,
as we can be.
17 is done. So now we need a resolution for money to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second
Darcy. Whenever you're ready.
Engelhardt,
it. Yes,
Engstrom,
yes.
Malcolm,
Yes.
Mar, Moore.
Yes.
All right, let's go then to public comment time again. Anybody? Go ahead.
First of all, I have two comments. First one is about the jump ground pound at the Jewish school. And I was thinking, I asked around to schools, and where they have band practice and they're close to a residential area, the majority of schools go to a different place to have their band practice as not to disturb any of the residents. And I was thinking, maybe the Jewish school could go up to the city, where the city garage is, and practice up there. Just a suggestion. It would lead to a lot better relationship with the regular citizens. Second thing is, I'm sorry, I wasn't here to hear Matt's thing about, what does it say? Police hire. Did you decide to hire an officer?
No.
Okay, you're going to be in big, big trouble. Did you know that on Cheryl Street, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that there were 3 individuals with masks on who tried to gain entry into one house?
Bob, I gotta stop you before you go in there. We didn't have the opportunity to hire an officer.
You better.
Well,
He needs
no,
officers.
what we did,
This was for part-time help,
part-time help.
not a,
Yeah, I mean, we can't help it if we can't we gotta have applications here for the job, say.
and we're not getting them.
You have to make it certain higher because you need an officer.
All right,
Now I'm gonna tell you something. If these guys would have came to my house with masks on and tried to get in there, none of them would have left alive. I'd a shot all. And the people back on Sherrill Street, they're afraid. And it's up to you guys to provide protection for them.
Yeah.
That means hiring another officer. They're all putting in cameras, and some are actually buying guns as well. And that's not a good thing. They have to feel like they're protected.
Right.
If it means
No, we
hiring-
understand that. Yes,
If it
yes.
means hiring another officer,
Yeah.
then you have to do it. Because that's your job, to protect the people of this community. So be aware of that.
I think one
So-
is that there'll be income from the speed cameras. Like it or not,
Doesn't make any difference
It'll be
if
income.
there's money or not.
you have to,
You have to provide for public safety.
I think we provide better than any other town in Northeast Iowa, Bob.
You're wrong there.
Who does?
You're wrong.
What town does?
You are wrong.
I'm
there,
asking
Ross.
what town does if it's wrong.
You had a attempted murder a couple weeks ago here.
I said that we've got as good as police force as any other town.
You have good officers.
So
But to be honest with you, you may not have them very much longer because they're getting pissed off. You're not backing them, and you have to back them.
how are we not backing them?
You have to hire another officer.
this raise is to get this part-time guy into more hours. It'll help, so we don't lose him. If we lose him, we're in worse pickle. It's the
Yeah,
best
you
thing
are.
we can do with the situation that we have. We're still looking. We're not giving up on looking for officers.
When there's a murder, then you guys are liable. You're supposed to provide for our public safety.
So by having an officer, we're going to prevent the murder. Somebody comes to your house and going to shoot you. We're going to get there before him by having an extra officer.
If they come to my house and they're gonna go in my house with masks on and all this, they will be shot.
If you have time to react.
I'll have time to react. Okay, thank you for listening to me.
Thanks,
If
Bob.
you don't think I know what I'm talking about, wait and see.
Yeah, well, I know, we know where you're coming from. It's just that we didn't, I think if, by reading that one, it looked like it was a higher, but it was.
Wasn't.
It
It was
wasn't.
asked for more
It was
wages
just
for a
more
part-time
wages
officer.
for the part-time. So, all right,
Doing what we can.
you bet.
Can the Jewish students, can they play like into the city park? I know they're right.
They,
in the
they can
corner.
play wherever they want up until 10 o'clock.
Yeah, there'd be good Sam as a band.
The high school goes to the football field.
But that's a residential.
Right.
This is their school, this is the.
And they can play there till 10 at night.
And I live in that community and, Bob, you want to respect me, but I know what's gonna happen this time of year, I'm prepared for it, I enjoy it.
I enjoy it too. I hear.
Actually, we're here at our house, so that's fine.
We should.
It's gonna be over after tomorrow.
Huh?
Do you enjoy at 8 AM, boom, 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 boom on Sunday?
I didn't hear it. I was up. I didn't hear anything.
At 8 AM, do you enjoy boom, boom, boom? Again, that would be happening at the high school, yes, it would be happening on their field. They don't have a big space like we do at the public school, they have their space.
Do they have their space within the white fence?
They go to school on Sundays.
Yeah. Do they have space within the white fence? I mean, I can't see their grounds. They have space within the white fencing that they
They
have up?
stay in that area.
What?
They stay in that.
They're in the
Oh,
park.
they're on
They're in the
corner, right
park.
by Bob's house.
Oh, they're down, otherwise they're down by our place.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Right, so if they stay within the white fence, it looks to me like they have a big area there.
Well, and if they go to the park, there's nothing you can do about it, Larry. What's our
That's
zone?
true.
What? Huh?
That's true.
I mean,
And it'll be over.
it's
Tomorrow.
open. It's open to the public. Number one, and number two, our ordinance says that you can, from one time to another time, be doing those things. I mean, it's no different. It's no different than the church that's over across where the old bowling alley was that people complain about. There's nothing you can do about it.
Or the
As long as
music
it's
that
within
comes
those
from the
times.
Lutheran Church. The
Right.
Caroline, yeah,
Right.
the Caroline things go on. It's all, you can hear it all over town.
Wait, guys, just I have a suggestion. I know you have ordinances that you can pass, so everybody obey from what time to what time people can make noise. Yeah, because we have another issue that people are making a lot of noise with music, or bombs, whatever, after 10:30 p.m. So I think really people need to know that they can make at least kind of noise since, I don't know, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I
Right,
don't know.
then you
Who
need to
knows?
address that with those
Who knows?
groups. Don't just single out one group because they're making the noise. They're only doing it for a couple weeks, because they usually don't start until,
Do you want them down by your house playing outside your window?
I
In the
hear them,
morning?
Todd, I hear them.
Yeah.
They are.
They're-
Where I
But they're getting better.
But-
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
tomorrow, it's done.
Yeah,
Next year, we'll have to deal with it again.
we will, and we will, and then
And they
it's,
just probably need a reminder to stay within their area of the school.
well, they don't have to stay there
Why
though.
should it be on Deborah?
Remind them of this.
Why is it on Deborah though?
You'd be a good band major at.
Yes.
You can't force them to do those things, so just move on.
We're gonna move on now. I understand that, but that's all right.
No, I'm just telling you.
That's not her job to do that.
Any more public comment?
Somebody, anybody else want to get up and, I thought, were you gonna get up and say something?
No, oh no, she's
I'm
not.
here with Christy.
I thought you were starting to get up and you wanted to
No,
say
I was
something.
just gonna address
I
what
just
Bob
can't
was
say
saying,
it,
because I live in the same areas.
Well, I do too,
I
and
mean,
I
it looked
can
like they
hear.
were coming
Yeah.
All is good.
to his outside.
It's all right.
Being in our town.
So anyway, down to the mayor's report, tomorrow is that parade.
I know.
Yes,
And it'll be done.
yeah, and I think that if you got a chance, go to a parade,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
What time does it start?
Starts
It's the
at
Land
noon.
Rover Parade.
It's at noon.
Noon to one.
So
I was the
Deborah is
grand
at
marshal at
12:30?
that 20 years ago.
Is that
You were?
12:30 Jewish time? I think that's probably.
so anyway, yes, I would, we need to be supportive of this, so if you got time, I think it'll be a nice day tomorrow, so.
I'm looking forward to it.
Beautiful.
I'll come
Parade.
down by my house and crank my stereo up.
Go ahead.
See how you like that.
Is the parade going down Main Street?
Yes. Mhm.
Pretty much, is it the same route as the
Hometown
students'
celebration.
hometown celebration?
It
Yes.
starts at the park and then,
Starts the park, goes up
okay, good.
Tilden, Green, East Green, and then to the
Fairgrounds.
fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Before we close, I want to say one thing.
Sure, yes.
Maybe more than one thing. This is concerning hiring the policeman from Old Lines for more money. I feel that there's not enough money in the world to pay a policeman because our son, second son, was a deputy sheriff in Chickasaw County. I don't know if any of you remember the Maynard Bank robbery many years ago. Okay. He was involved in that. And he had to have a stakeout. He was sitting out in this gravel road. And the robbers came down the road in a car, had the back window out. He followed the car. One guy was driving, the other guy popped up, shot at our son, missed him with the AK-47 right by his ear, about an inch. And then they went down to the left, and he followed him, and he popped up again. And right behind his door, he's got a line of bullets all the way back to his gas tank. It just barely missed him. And he continued with his duties, but there were a lot of them then that dropped out because of being shot at. So
Sure. Yeah.
I am thoroughly pleased to give this guy extra money for that because it's just, it's scary. It's
Yep.
really scary. I was so glad that they finally caught him. But anyhow, yeah, that's my feelings on it. And I know it's personal having a son in the law enforcement. He's retired now, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad he made it.
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
He had a lot of close calls.
I bet.
Yeah.
That sounds very scary.
Yes, he had a lot of close calls. So anyhow, thank you.
Okay, council, any comments?
Sorry to bitch about that, Matt.
Hmm?
You're giving this guy from Owine that was here before a raise?
That's the only guy I got left.
You know how I feel about it. He's worthless.
All right.
That's the truth.
Legal fees are.
Is
see
there
it
a
in
motion
Indian Light?
to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those say no. We are done. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, public.
Are we getting close to the end of legal fees?
Not after tonight.